The Fat Controller sent Devious Diesel packing after he caused trouble for Duck. Most of the engines that worked the branch lines were glad they hadn't met him, but Bill and Ben were still full of questions weeks later.
Is it true that he had horns? Is the smell really that bad? Or did he...
For the last time, you two, chuckled Edward. All I know is what Duck told me. I never even saw this Diesel. I was far too busy with all the work here. Sorry we haven't been able to help you much lately, replied Ben. It's all go up at the clay works right now. Speaking of which, said Bill's driver, we'd best get back. Come on. Edward sighed as the twins scuttled off. Another set of wheels around here might be nice. Oh, I'm not getting any younger. It turned out that the Fat Controller thought much the same. Edward, I'm pleased with your efforts, but given the workload you're dealing with right now, it's clear to me that you need a hand. So, I've invested in another engine, who is coming from the mainland soon. No one realized that Douglas was listening nearby. As the Fat Controller concluded with, "It's a diesel engine," a shiver ran down his boiler. "Lush sakes!" puffed Douglas. "Oh, I don't believe it," spluttered Gordon when he heard the news. "Has the Fat Controller lost all common sense? Fancy bringing another diesel here not 5 minutes after he sent that devious shunter away," grumbled Henry. "The trucks still haven't stopped calling me Old Square Wheels." "Revolutionary indeed. Nothing but trouble more like," snorted James. Now hold on, huffed Edward. "He may not have the same character as that shunter did. Let's see what he's like first, and I'm sure—" "Oh, come on, Edward," interrupted Duck. "I thought you'd understand. You saw how upset I was after all those horrid lies he told. They're all the same, these diesels." "Oh, quite so," agreed Gordon. "Diesels are only here to take over from us. We were here first. We deserve a place to call our own. This Diesel, whoever he may be, has no place on our island. It would be wise to take our side on this, little Edward." But Edward was determined to give the newcomer a fair chance. The next morning, the new Diesel rumbled into the yard. He was long, green, and looked very smart. "Good morning," he said politely. The other engines said nothing. Edward, feeling uneasy about this, spoke up. "Oh, hello," he said. "Please allow me to show you the yard, and then we'll get to work." The other engines hissed disdainfully at Edward as he and the new Diesel rumbled away. "Oh, I never asked. What's your name?" "I don't really have one yet," the new Diesel said. "I have a number, though. I'm a Class 28 Kobo Diesel." Edward thought. Kobo? I reckon that'd be a good name if it was the other way around. So how about BoCo? BoCo, mused the new Diesel. You know what? I rather like it. Edward and BoCo were soon hard at work. BoCo managed any train he was given, and the truck soon found that playing tricks on him was unwise. However, the other engines continued to give him dirty looks and refused to speak to him. This made him feel very hurt. A few days later, Edward stopped by the junction just as Toby was collecting a tanker wagon from the platform. "Good morning," whistled Edward. Shouldn't the milk be on its way by now? Toby chuckled. Oh, well, it's a long story. I've heard tell you've been working with a new engine on your branch. Well, guess what? So have we. Toby quickly brought Edward up to date on all the recent news. Thomas crashing into the station master's house, and the Fat Controller bringing in a diesel rail car to help out in his absence. Oh, that's Daisy, finished Toby with a sigh. I've never known an engine like her. Stuck up, lazy, won't have anything to do with trucks. Yet she's still eager to make a show of herself. Gordon arrived just in time to overhear. He rudely interrupted with his own thoughts on the matter. Her behavior doesn't surprise me one bit, he harumphed. Diesels are nothing but despicable troublemakers. Take that new mainline diesel, for example. How the Fat Controller can bring a vulgar engine like that to our railway is beyond belief. And after that shunter, that's enough. Gordon and Toby were shocked. Edward had never snapped like that before, but sure enough he was red in the face and furious. I'm disgusted with you, Gordon, comparing that devious shunter to BoCo. He's nothing like him, and I should know. He's been an exemplary worker since he's arrived, and yet you've talked the others into giving him the cold buffer all week, as if he doesn't exist. The Fat Controller would be just as appalled, I'm sure. At that moment, the guard's whistle blew, and Gordon left without another word. I'm sorry for raising my voice, Toby, Edward sighed, but I've just had enough of all the remarks towards BoCo. He's a decent sort of engine underneath, really. Why, thank you, a voice said. BoCo pulled up alongside. Edward was quick to make introductions, and soon all three were chatting like old friends. I'm sorry everyone's made you feel so unwelcome, said Toby. I'm sure the Fat Controller appreciates your work just as much as Edward does. BoCo sighed. Oh, truth be told, he said sadly, it's a wonder he found an engine like me at all. I may be new and up to date, but even we aren't without our problems. You see, we suffered failures when we worked on the other railway. We broke down frequently, and sometimes our cab windows even fell out. Your controller, he went on, bought me because he's found a way to fix these problems. Unfortunately, all the other engines like me. I'd say your place on this railway is more than justified, said Toby kindly, and Edward agreed. Weeks passed. As Thomas returned from the works, now it was Percy's turn for a visit. Daisy was scolded for her laziness, not just by the Fat Controller, but by BoCo too. You don't know how lucky you are to be here, he told her sternly when they finally met. For once, Daisy was speechless. When the other engines heard, they began to warm to BoCo. They said sorry to him, and soon made him one of the family. But the likes of Gordon and James still had their doubts. One afternoon, BoCo and Edward were working together at Wellsworth when Gordon thundered through with the express. He'll need pushing up again, no doubt, Edward sighed. Although I can't see why I should, after his recent behavior. I tell you what, BoCo offered, I'll do it. Maybe a good deed will help him see sense. If you're sure, said Edward. Mind him, however, he won't have changed his attitude one bit. Gordon had managed to crest the hill, but couldn't puff over with the heavy train. Oh, not this again, not today, he groaned. Presently, BoCo arrived. The guard jumped down, ready to couple up, though he forgot to set the brakes on. When Gordon looked back and saw BoCo coming towards the train, he pulled forward. I can manage myself, thank you. I don't need help from you. BoCo ignored him and edged closer. Then, everything happened at once. The train started slipping back, but Gordon was pulling so hard that the couplings began to weaken. Suddenly, there was a snap, and he shot forwards. The coaches started to roll down the hill. Slowly at first, then faster and faster. BoCo stopped sharply, horrified at the long train approaching him. His driver threw him into reverse. Back, he yelled, back! Passengers panicked and held onto their seats. We want to get off, they yelled. But of course, they couldn't. The guard, who'd been left behind, quickly phoned the signalman. Emergency! There's been a breakaway on the hill. BoCo, meanwhile, kept ahead of the coaches, but they soon began to match his speed. By now, the signalman had told the man on duty at the crossing, but he was too late to close the gates. Trevor was already crossing the line, and the Fat Controller's car was coming the other way. The crossing came into view, and BoCo made a plan. He slowed down just enough to allow the coaches to catch his buffer beam. Then, once they were against him, he braked hard. I must stop, he groaned. Trevor was only just clear as BoCo came to a halt, inches from the closed gates. Edward had arrived to see it all. Is everyone all right? I could hear the commotion from my yard. By now, the Fat Controller had stopped his car safely and hurried over. What is the meaning of this? He boomed. BoCo's driver explained everything. When Gordon arrived with the guard, the Fat Controller quickly turned on him. I'm surprised at you. You should know better than to refuse the help of a banker, whether they be steam engine or diesel. I've also heard about your unacceptable comments towards BoCo. I hope this kind, considerate, and brave act will make you think otherwise about the character of some diesel engines. Yes, sir, wheezed Gordon quietly. I'm so sorry, BoCo. Thank you for saving the express. You were splendid. Well, that's all right, hummed BoCo. Happy to have helped. All the passengers agreed and cheered loudly for the big diesel. Edward, please help BoCo to the works. Gordon can take over the mainline goods work whilst he's away. And once you're mended, BoCo, you shall be our first mainline express diesel. You've more than earned it today. Edward whistled and BoCo hooted happily. And surprisingly, even Gordon smiled. BoCo has now settled into the Fat Controller's railway family. Some of the other engines still have their doubts, but they are always pleased whenever BoCo is around to help them out. Gordon didn't mind sharing the expresses with him. He was a little opinionated at first, but was always reminded of the time BoCo saved the express from disaster. That said, there were two engines on the branch line that BoCo still hadn't met. When Edward came off the rails one morning, BoCo offered to collect his China clay train from the harbour. He did so. Bill and Ben were most upset by this as their trucks seemingly vanished into thin air. But they did notice a patch of oil on the tracks. That, as you will know, is another story.